Assalamualaikum doctor and all my other viewers who may be watching. I'm Ilieyeennur Binti Ibrahim from Civil Procedure 1 Class A. If you're watching this video, it means that you have read my infographic on striking out pleadings and wish to learn more. With that, welcome to my video presentation explaining my infographic on striking out pleadings. For context, a pleading is a formal statement of a person's cause of action or defense made to the court. So, what is a striking out of pleading? Well, the court may strike out or amend any matter in any pleading at any stage of the proceeding. Basically, the court can cancel or change a pleading if it sees fit. Ideally, the striking out of pleading is done to prevent injustice or abuse of the process of the court. An application to strike out a pleading can be done by either the plaintiff or defendant. The plaintiff might look to strike out the whole or part of the defendant's defense, and the defendant might seek to strike out the whole or part of the plaintiff's endorsement of writ or statement of claim. It could be noted here that the plaintiff's endorsement on the writ or endorsement is a short paragraph found in the writ where the plaintiff's cause of action is described. The procedure for striking out pleadings are governed under Order 18, Rule 19 of the Rules of Court 2012, and there are no time limitations expressly stated in the statute for when the application may be made. And Order 18, Rule 19, Subsection 1 of the ROC only states that the application may be made at any stage of the proceeding. However, in the case of Jamir Hassan against Kang Min in 1992, it has been adopted that the application may be made promptly without delay and preferably before the close of the proceeding, which is 14 days after the delivery of the last pleading. According to the case of Razsha Enterprise Sedian Berhad 2019, the application to strike out pleadings must be accompanied with a clear statement on the grounds or limbs provided under Order 18, Rule 19, Section 1 of the ROC 2012. The grounds could be a single or a combination of any of the grounds stated in the statutory provision mentioned. But what are the grounds for striking out applications? According to Order 18, Rule 19, 1A, it states that the court may strike out or amend any pleading on the grounds that it discloses no reasonable cause of action or defense as the case may be. The question that arises when applying this ground is whether the plaintiff or defendant has any prospects of success. According to the case of New Straits Times in Malaysia, Berhad 1985, a claim or defense has no reasonable prospects of success when it's not sustainable in the face of it. Basically, it means that the defense has no merit or the claim has no basis. For example, the plaintiff has no locus standi or the capacity to bring up a certain claim in court. No evidence needs to be presented or stated in the affidavit when claims are made under this subsection. But sometimes people can be mistaken as to whether time-barred claims is a valid ground to strike out a pleading under this subsection. But the answer is no. According to the case of Ronex Properties Ltd, a defendant cannot strike out a plaintiff's claim if it is time-barred by limitation, as the plaintiff's claim still has cause of action, only the remedies are time-barred. Next, Order 18, Rule 19, 1B states that the court may strike out or amend any pleading on the grounds that it is scandalous, frivolous, or vexatious. Scandalous action means actions that cause imputations being wholly unnecessary and irrelevant. According to the case of Attorney General of the Duchy of Lancaster against London and North Western Railway Co. 1892, frivolous action is groundless action or statements with no prospects of success, often raised to embarrass or annoy another party to the action. In the case of Goh Kun Swan against Heng Gek Kiao in 1991, it was expressed that vexatious action means a hopeless action brought in malafide or bad faith and merely wishes to annoy or embarrass his opponent. Therefore, if you find a pleading to be scandalous, frivolous, or vexatious in referring to the definitions as stated before this, you may apply to strike out those pleadings under this stated provision. The examples of pleadings that I can give which constitute to the grounds under this provision in cases for pleadings containing res judicata, where you cannot relitigate a matter that has already been decided by the court, and where there is a wrong party that has been sued, or where the defense is only in bare denial, or where the limitation has already set in. Thirdly, Order 18, Rule 19, 1C states that the court may strike out or amend any pleading on the grounds that it may be prejudicial, embarrassing, or would delay the fair trial of the action. This may happen in two circumstances. The first being where the defendant did not clearly state how much the plaintiff's claim is denied. The second being where the defendant raises an issue that is not relevant to the plaintiff's claim. As you can see, both situations stated would cause the pleading to be either prejudicial, embarrassing, or would delay the fair trial for trite reasons. But I do believe that we must refer to the case of Lee Kuan Yew against Chin View Ken in 1991 for a better understanding on this. So this was a defamation case. In this case, the defendants published two articles in Malaysia commenting on the effects of the suicide of the then Minister of National Development in Singapore and the collapse of the National Bank of Brunei on Singapore's image. They wanted to have the plaintiff's claim struck out as they believed that the plaintiff's claim was not relevant. The court then held that the general and obvious facts disclosed by the defendants embarrassed the plaintiff and delayed the fair trial of the case, and thus, instead of the plaintiff's statements of claim, the statement of defense were actually struck out. Finally, ground number 4. Don't worry, this is an easy ground. Order 18 Rule 19(1)(d) states that the court may strike out or amend any pleading on the ground that it is otherwise an abuse of the court process. This happens usually when the court process is used for unlawful objects, neglecting the aim to achieve justice. Abuse of court process must be interpreted widely and applied according to the facts of the case. This was stated by the learned judge in the case of Gabriel Peter and Partners in 1998. This ground is usually sought in addition to other grounds provided in Order 18 Rule 19 of the ROC. Again, as in the case of Gabriel Peters and Partners 1998, the respondents filed a defense to have the action struck out as the statement of claim disclosed a frivolous and vexatious action in addition to being an abuse of the court process. In conclusion, the procedure for striking out pleadings is simple. As you have learned, you only have to observe the grounds under Order 18 Rule 19 of the ROC 2012 to do so. Make sure that the application is made promptly without delay, or else you might miss your ability to strike out the opposite party's pleadings on merit grounds. That is all from me. These are the lists of references that I used for research. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate the time you spent and I hope that you learned something. I'm Ilieyeennur Binti Ibrahim. Until next time, see you again.